Okay, sorry. I just had to laugh. Hey guys, it's me, and I wanted to jump in on, I guess, kind of two topics that have to deal with gods. But let's just jump in. As usual, it's going to be a ramble. Let me turn off my switch. Um, so gods and the classification of specifically. Um, Actually, this could kind of expand to several things. So, when you're first starting out in paganism, I understand the need because we all do it. The need to look up already established meanings for things, such as totem animals. Like, what is what is its meaning? What herbs can I use in a certain type of spell? Like, what benefits does that herb have? And it's the same with gods. So, I know that I want to focus on love and working on love. So let me make sure I pick a god of love. And all of that is extremely valid. I do it. I still do it. We all do it. And in the beginning, you need to do it, especially, I would say. Because it helps give you parameters and labels. And as much as people say that they don't like labels and boxes, it's human nature to create labels and boxes. We have to organize chaos in some form to understand it. To understand and perceive the world, we have to classify it and break it down. Otherwise, it's like just too much for most of us. And I think once you get to a point um, of labeling and classifying, once you get to a place of like foundation and security, maturity in a path, be it religious or not, or spiritual or not, but I think that's when you can start to sort of like break away from said classifications and labels. And I mean that can go for like gender identity and sexual orientation, but specifically in a magical mindset, um, I think it is important to kind of use labels and terms at first, and then maybe over time expand on the labels or throw them out. But I feel like you kind of have to know what the rules are before you break them, you know? So, to break that down, I think that... sorry, my glasses keep slipping. I need to get them adjusted. Anyway, it is important when working with deity, that you allow your own perception of them to grow. Don't be so tunnel visioned on saying, oh, Odin is the All-Father. He created the runes. He's a god of gods, and he is all about like leadership. He's all about knowledge seeking. Like, those things are true, but there's like so much more to Odin than that. Especially Odin. Oh my god, he's like so multifaceted. It's like wild. The same with the Dagda. He is way more than just the leader of the gods, as are I think most king gods in pantheons. Like, they're so diverse in what they cover. It's wild. Like, Dagda is literally kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. I mean, truly. I mean, as is Lou, I know, but don't get me distracted. So, to fine tune it even more, I think that, like, so for me personally, working with Morgan, or the Morgan, I've been working with her for a really, really long time now. And, God, a long time when you think about it. But, a really long time. Over 10 years. And over 11, 12 years. And 13? Anyway. And I think the more you work with her, if you allow your perception, because no matter what, the gods are more than what you perceive of them. They already are. It just takes you a while to catch up. So, Morgan, if I say Morgan instead of Morrigan, you get what I mean. First of all, I'm Southern, so we're going to slow down words and say them the easiest way possible. So Morgan has less syllables than Morrigan. That kind of stresses the mouth more to say. Morrigan, but Morgan. That's very easy to say. Also, as you know, it's because I came to the Morgan through the guise of Morgan Le Fay first. Anywho, I digress. But as with Morgan, I think you can find that she is so much more than a goddess of like sex and death. Like way more. She's so much more than just a goddess of shadow work. Like way more. But I feel like it takes time to get to that point. Either because of her, or because, like I said, of your own perception expanding, you know? Like Aphrodite, Venus, way more than goddesses of beauty and love. Like, they have so much more deeper teachings to impart. And I think that it just takes you working with that deity or spirit over time to see that they're not just a one-trick pony. Like, they have so much to give. So in my opinion, there's really no such thing as just a god of agriculture, a god of the weather, a god of love, a god of war. Like, they're way more than that. Way more than that. You just gotta listen and stick with them and actually do the work that they want you to do to better yourself. Like, truly do the work. And you will be... It's so rewarding to work with deity. But, as I said, this also goes with plants as well. So when you get into herbalism or potion making, in witchcraft, spell work of any kind, in witchcraft and voodoo and all of these paths, when you get into those, you know, we all immediately are like, what herbs do I use for said spell or for said thing? Or I can't use this herb because it's dedicated to the planet Mars and it's only used for attraction. Like, I can't use cinnamon in my bad luck spell, or I can't, you know what I mean? I have never liked that and have never followed that. However, like I said with deity, I understand following those set rules and parameters first, because that's how the human mind works. We need a system to work off of usually, instead of just jumping in and building our own. We have to have a template first to work off of. It's just the way it is, and that's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. However, for me personally, I have always felt like a deep spiritual connection to plant life, and animals, but plant life. I just feel like a surging energy when I think about them and touch them and surround myself with them. Like, I feel invigorated and empowered by plant life. I just love them so much, and have since I was a little boy. And so I never felt, I think because of that, I never felt the need to work off of someone else's definitions of what plants meant spiritually. So I will use them just willy-nilly crazy all the time for anything. 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 And that's okay. And sometimes, yes, I will be like, well, I'm just curious. I use sage, this, that, and those. What does that actually mean? And sometimes it's like magic goes, if you've been on this path, extremely synchronous and coincidental, where you're like, well, I instinctively used everything apparently the way other people use it. So that's awesome. And that really helps validate your own path too, right? When you experience these synchronicities, this magic, these miracles. But again, don't feel the need to ever follow someone else's rules on your journey. That's what makes it your journey. And also sharing your way of doing things can help inspire other people to not only, one, break away from the established set of rules, But also, it might just inform them and help them, not necessarily break away from the established rules, but it just helps them think different, or it gives them a template to work off of. Because maybe they don't jive with the mainstream template for working a certain way. So it's important to share and to discuss and to break down. But yeah, my only point in this entire video was don't feel bound by the rules that come before us. Do not feel bound to use those. You don't have to follow one god, one goddess, especially from the same pantheon. You don't have to use sage to clear your house. You can use completely other things. You don't have to use sage at all. You don't. Also, you can use sage for literally the complete opposite of what it's supposed to be used for. You can use a plant for anything. For anything. And as I said before with the gods, the more you work with one plant in particular over and over and over, if you start to do it consciously and not just, thank you, plant, I'm burning you up. Like, I'm setting you on fire, I'm drowning you. You know what I mean? If you try to connect with that if you try to connect with that plant's spirit, you will realize that there is so much there to uncover. Like, they're just like humans, gods and plants and animals. Like, they have so much more to give than what you see at surface. Okay? We're all icebergs. But, anywho, dig deeper and break the rules. Why not? This isn't Christianity. Do what you want. Peace.